Often people want to know what makes a good quality sheath. The egotistic in me says sharpshooter on the back, but I think you need a little bit more of an answer than that. A good quality sheath is going to be made out of vegetable tanned leather. But a good quality sheath has some very important features to keep in mind. When you buy a sheath, generally what you're going to see is you see the stitching. Now, a lot of people believe the stitching is what holds the sheath together. I'll tell you now categorically, if the stitching is what's holding the sheath together, it's not a good sheath. A good quality sheath is made by gluing the parts together using a good quality glue that's going to handle all weather environment. Another feature inside a sheath is something called the welt. The welt is what prevents the knife blade from getting over to the stitching to cut it. We see a lot of the old time sheaths back made in the 50s and 60s into the 70s where a welt didn't exist. They simply sewed the pieces of sheath together and they would stick rivets or staples in there to prevent the knife blade from getting there. Unfortunately, the knife blade manages to find its way between them, cuts open the stitching, the sheath's in pieces, your knife's on the ground, and basically you don't have a sheath anymore. The welt sits inside between the two parts, so when you look at a sharpshooter sheath, you'll notice on the edge, you'll be able to see that there's at least 3 layers there. A welt, and then your front and back. Another feature of a good quality sheath is the stitching itself. We always, when we stitch, do a back stitch at the beginning and end of the stitching. What that means is we run the sewing machine back over the first few stitches, and what that does is it locks the thread in. Threads are trimmed to be very flush with the sheath so that you don't see loose thread ends. Loose thread ends get snagged, pulled out, and you're unzipping the sheath by unstitching it. So fit and finish is very important as well. The KSF logo on the back usually tells you it's a good quality sheath because Derek won't accept anything less.